Now this video is going to be a lot different than most of my videos. It's going to be a lot more, let's say, lighthearted. In a recent video, I had stressed that the left-hand path had lit a fire under my ass. It made me realize that this could be it. This existence we have right here, right now, this could be it. So let's make the best of it. Go and try those things you've always wanted to try. Live life to the fullest. And stating that, I had brought up that in my past, I had done some acting in Hollywood. Now, a subscriber commented, "May I ask what movies you were in? I'd love to know." Well, initially I didn't really want to get into this or answer Mel's question, if you will. But then I started thinking about it. I was thinking, it might be fun to reminisce, to maybe brag a little. I don't know. Anyway, this is my Hollywood story. Now, I first did extra work in Hollywood back in the late 80s. And I think the first thing I did was the television program Max Headroom. And then not long after that, I was walking down Hollywood Boulevard with a couple of friends and some talent scouts or whatever the hell they were, liked the way me and my friends look. Now, we were playing in rock bands at the time, so we had the hair and all that. And they handed us their cards and said, "Hey, would you like to audition for a part in a commercial?" So we thought, sure. So we went the next day, auditioned, got the part, and it was for Michelob. It was a Michelob commercial. It came out in the late 80s, where we played the part of rock stars coming off stage, slapping hands, all that kind of stuff. Then, not long after that, I think just basic sitcoms and whatever, extra work, nothing substantial. Then I took a break for a while. I was a father and husband, but then that marriage to that individual didn't work out. So after we split up, I decided I'm going back to Hollywood. I'm going to give it a try again. Just instead of sitting around feeling sorry for myself, I decided, fuck it. I have always loved acting ever since I was a kid. Go do it. So I went back, and I think the first thing I did, I was an extra in the movie Species, club scene. Initially, I had done a lot of club scenes. I'll put it this way. Anyone can be an extra because they need every kind of person you can think of. And club scenes and crowd scenes are very common. Now, yeah, it was Species. I think it was one of the first things I did. And then I did extra work on the Batman movie, Batman Forever. It was the opening scene where a wrecking ball is going into the side of a building. I guess they're trying to rob a bank, or somebody's trying to rob a bank. I forget what it is. Of course, there was no wrecking ball. There was really no bank. It was just us staring up, and everything else was added in later in post-production. That was kind of fun, working on set with the Batmobile and just being in that environment. And around that time, I also worked on the movie Heat with Al Pacino and Robert De Niro. Now, that was another club scene. And you can't see me in the movie. But you would have if they would have kept the original shots of a specific scene in. For instance, okay, Al Pacino comes into this club, this nightclub, and he's walking through the crowd, and I was walking toward him, and kind of like bumped him as I walked. I was like walking out of the club while he was walking into the club, basically. And we shot that scene multiple times until finally the assistant director came up to me and goes, "Sorry, but we can't use you for the scene." And I go, "Why?" And he goes, "You're making Al look too short." So I ended up just sitting at a table. It was fun, though. Al Pacino was a very friendly person, actually. He offered me a stick of gum. Also, around that time, I worked on the Jim Carrey movie Liar Liar. Most movies I worked on, it was either just an anonymous head in a club scene, or I played a bad guy. This movie, Liar Liar, it's outside a courthouse. Jim Carrey's talking to his lawyer, and if you look in the background, you can kind of see me and another guy, and we're talking to our lawyers. Also, during that time period, I did a lot of like TV shows. I believe I was on, like, for instance, Babylon 5. I worked on that one. Melrose Place, 90210. Just basic extra work. I also was in that awful Space Jam. That was no fun working on that movie. Crowd scenes. Crowd scenes weren't fun. And then also, I believe that was the same year, 95, 96. I was also in the movie Escape from LA. Now, I enjoyed that movie. I worked on that for multiple days, like 30, 40 days or whatever, or they were nights. It was a night shoot. And most of it you can't see me, but there's one scene where you can. It's where Kurt Russell first comes into LA. He's going down into what is a decimated Hollywood Boulevard with a bunch of the post-apocalyptic types, I guess you could say, the prisoners, whatever the hell we were, mingling about. And he says the line, he's talking on a radio or whatever. They ask, "Snake, what are you doing?" And he says something like, "I'm watching the parade." And when he says that line, you can see me walk past him. Not only you see me walk past him once, you see me walk past him twice because they screwed up in the editing. Oh, shit. Also that year, 95, I worked on what's usually rated probably one of the worst movies ever made, Showgirls. Now, the scene is the Cheetah Club. Now, that's where the main character ends up. She first goes to... I guess that's when she first went to Vegas. I don't know. I saw the movie once. And she ends up a stripper. Now she wants to become a big-time showgirl dancer or whatever. But she starts off as a stripper. Now, the club scene, it's a complete stripper club created on a sound stage. We didn't know initially. When you do extra work, a lot of times you only have a vague idea of what you're going to do. You need it for a club scene or whatever, and they'll say, "Okay, go here or go there." And we go into the sound stage. It's really cool. It looks like any stripper bar you've ever been in. And there are girls. There's all these nude women dancing on poles, and you're doing this for like 8 hours a day or more for multiple days, and you're getting paid for it. So that was fun. I did some TV, some other TV programs, bit parts. I got my first like acting job, I guess you could say, was in a television program called Pacific Blue. It was kind of a ripoff of Baywatch. These were bicycle cops in Venice Beach. And I play the part, I think my character's name was Glenn. And now I was picked for this. I was just from a headshot to get this part. I didn't even audition for it, really. And what I did is I was going around stealing dogs from the beach and wherever for scientific experiments. Yeah, that was fun. Then I think it was 96. It was maybe late 95. I worked on the movie American History X. Now, the scenes I was in were the prison scenes near the beginning of the film. And you can see me in one of the scenes where Edward Norton is there in the cafeteria in prison. And he sits down for his meal, and you can see me behind him sitting down. Now, not long after that, I decided, okay, extra work, it's fun. Sometimes it's fucking tedious. I decided, okay, I really love acting. I'm going to try to be an actual actor. So I went for an audition for this part of a motorcycle hitman. In my very first audition, I got the part. And I thought initially, fuck, this is easy. Well, you learn later. It's when I went on more auditions and not getting the parts, you realize it's not all that easy. The movie is called Acts of Betrayal, and it starred Maria Conchita Alonso. And if you don't know who she is, she was in Predator 2 and I think a couple of Arnold Schwarzenegger movies or whatever. You don't see much of her anymore. And anyway, in this film, I am the leader of these motorcycle hitmen that are sent out to kill her because she's in the witness protection program. But I get shot and killed by the hero, by the FBI agent hero. Now, here you can see my death scene. That's not me falling, of course. One of the last things I did in Hollywood, acting-wise, was I got a part in a low-budget film called The Other One. Now, in this movie, I play the part of a small-town speed freak or whatever. Now, the movie, if you go to check it out, the release date is 2017, but it was shot in 1998. And what had happened is the lead actor, who was also co-director and writer of the film, died while they were, right after they finished principal photography or whatever. I don't know what happened. But anyway, they were unable to finish the edits or whatever. It took years. And the co-director took the raw footage and finally, in 2017, had it released. Besides doing these basic Hollywood type, cliche Hollywood films, whatever you want to call them, I also worked on 2 adult films in non-sex roles. These were big budgeted adult films. One of the movies is called Point of Entry, where I play a German police officer and I get killed. And the other one was called Conquest, starring Jenna Jameson. Now, at the time, Conquest was the biggest budgeted adult film, American adult film. Worked on it for multiple days. It was a whole lot of fun, actually. A lot of it was shot on a pirate ship, an actual ship, sailing off the coast of Southern California near Catalina Island. We did that multiple days. I was one of the pirates. I was a Scottish Highlander pirate. And for these roles, I used an alias called Canmore McBain. And you can Google Canmore McBain. And yeah, that's me. So that was about it for my Hollywood days, because in the late 90s, 99 I believe it was, I got custody of my older daughter. So I decided it was time to settle down and get a real job, look after her. So, like I said, my friends, if you got an itch, scratch it. You know what I mean? Do those things you've always wanted to do. It's not about being the most successful. It's about doing. And that's basically the essence of existence, isn't it? Until next time.